Hey everybody, it is the last episode of the films of 1997, I think. Sometimes it's hard to keep track.
Considering how many we've been through.
Well, yeah, and then I have someone fill in for one more episode. I think I might be wrong. So let's just continue and pretend like nothing just happened. I'm Michael, the stupid one, and the clumsy one. Jacob over there, the sly, funny one.
Oh, I tend to be clumsy and stupid. Oh my god. I've been dropping everything lately. My coffee, the whole box of candy snacks and fruit jellies. Oh, what's
Oh.
wrong with me?
So for us, though, for you and me, it's the end of the 1997 movies. Charge it on to 1998.
Oh yeah.
I've been looking at the years, like the films that we would discuss, that we would want to discuss, and it seems like it's really slim next year. So I get the feeling we're going to burn through 98 and possibly 99 as well. I know people consider 1999 the greatest film year in history, but we're super nerds, and there's not a whole lot of nerdy shit in 99. So I'm more of a 1984 is the greatest year in film for me, maybe 87.
Oh, well, 99, Phantom Menace came out.
Ugh.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah, but I don't. No.
Yeah, I know. We'll discuss. Well, if
Yeah.
we get to 90, if we decide to discuss it on 99, yeah.
No,
we'll talk about it.
well, another thing is that we did discuss some of the movies already. Like you and I already did the Star Wars movies back when Force Awakens was coming out. So we don't need to do Phantom Menace, and like we did Election, Mindy and I for the high school stuff. But yeah, it's getting a little lighter. So 97, what do you want to start off with?
Okay, let's start off with the obvious one to get this out of the way. Yeah, don't get me wrong, James Cameron's a great director, but I mean, I'm just so over this movie, Titanic.
Yeah, is the problem with this movie is that it was so fucking big and that you just get burnt out on it. You remember how people were like, oh, this $150 million movie is delayed from the summer. Now it's $175 million. Oh, he wants reshoots on this one piece. Now it's $195 million. I think it ended up like 195 or 200. And it was the whole Waterworld thing all over again, where people had already decided that it was a disaster before it ever released. And I remember it came out up against Tomorrow Never Dies, I think is the Bond from 97. And
Die Another Day.
No, that's 2002.
Or was it GoldenEye?
It's GoldenEye's 95. I'm pretty sure Tomorrow Never Dies is 97. The World Is Not Enough is 99. And Die Another Day is 2002, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, I just know they all had Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, so that opened, number one, it opened the same exact day as Titanic. And people were like, holy fucking shit, this $200 million movie couldn't even beat James Bond. Which, of course, James Bond was kind of hot after GoldenEye, but...
Oh, yes.
And they thought it was like, okay, well, it's probably going to hit 100 million. That's about it at best. And then it just wouldn't fucking go away. And yeah, It was pretty astounding to see like, oh, good, it's a hit. James Cameron still got the magic. And then like by the end of January, like, okay, this is enough. This is fucking enough. Go away already.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's when, of course, as a kid, Leo DiCaprio was like popping up big time. Great performance by both Kate Winslet, DiCaprio, and Billy Zane.
Yeah, Billy Zane doesn't get enough credit for this, and I can't believe his career basically ended with this movie. He plays it very arch, very big, old school dramatic, and that's what James Cameron wanted, and Billy Zane gave him that, and it fucking sold. I was sold on his performance, and if you look at his IMDb after Titanic, nothing. Just fucking nothing. A cameo in Zoolander, that's it.
Yeah, it was just like straight to video stuff, or like independent stuff, but nothing big.
Yeah.
Again, which was a shame.
Confounding.
Although I am looking forward to seeing him in that Brando movie. I'm like, just from looking at the like prosthetics and like the teasers, I'm like, holy shit, I can't wait to see this. Oh, there was that one Funny or Die segment he did about. It was about Betty Boop, like the biography of the person.
Oh, okay. But still, when you play the villain in the biggest movie of all time and then you get nothing afterwards, that's always a shock. But I think what killed it for a lot of people was by the end of January, the audience was now divided. Pretty much everybody had seen it by that point that was going to see it. And just seeing like, oh, my best friend's sister saw it 7, 11, 12. Like she was up to like 13, I think. And I was like, what the fuck? Why? It's, like it just, I don't know if she thought it was never going to hit video. I don't know what she thought. It did take a while. It took like a year or something.
And it was on 2 tapes, no less.
Oh yeah, those beasts. But I remember the only thing that took it down, if I remember correctly, was Man in the Iron Mask, I think might have beat it, but then it went straight back to number 1 again. It was something like that. It was like that or Lost in Space or something that took it out for just 1 week. But,
yeah, no, it is pretty much. I mean, the spectacle and the use of special effects, as they were like kind of developing, that was definitely a huge key point because people were just amazed by that, especially when it was just really coming to fruition.
And I understand the romance story. They wanted to be something you could connect to, some anchor, to use a water noun, I guess, an anchor to hook the story onto, and it's just the romantic couple that's torn apart and, put back together and torn apart again.
And tragic ending.
Yeah.
At the same time, so beautiful. Because it's so human.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've told the story. I think they've told it like 3 times before that, but this is the one that really just hit home. It has good performances, great direction, very technical in how it happened. People get very mad that she didn't just hop off and let him be on there for a while or vice versa. Look, the reality is it wasn't strong enough to carry 2 bodies, because if he had hopped on, it would have sunk. Now, it would have sunk a lot, but it would have sunk enough that they would have got hypothermia and died. So he sacrificed himself, and it's not like she could hop off for a while and he could hop back on. It's just not the way it would work, because then she would get hypothermia again. It's not. People just want this ending where they're together, and that's just not how it is. Deal with tragedy, people.
Yeah, and oh god, yes, and then of course, not only do you have Bill Paxton power within this movie, but also, the captain of the ship was Bernard Hill, may he rest.
Oh, I did not know that. I haven't seen it. I was going off memory with this one. This is one that's going to be hard for me to ever go back to. Here's the thing I think is the most damaging to this movie is not the massive success. It's that fucking song.
Damn you, Celine Dion. We love you, but damn it.
That song just wouldn't go away. I work at a fitness center, and I was playing 90s hits, and I didn't know that they would play My Heart Will Go On. I went down to go do laundry. I came back up and I got some stares. I got some fucking stares from the members, and they're like, what is happening? And it's like, oh, we're good. Like, I can't work out to this.
Not even the club remix?
No. Oh, God. There was there? I feel like there was a club remix. I feel like I don't think you're kidding. I think there was one.
There is a version that came out on TikTok where people use like a filter of Toad from Super Mario.
Oh boy,
singing that part. It kills me every time.
It was a worse reaction than I had when Macarena came up. So, and that was the same exact hour. I switched channels after that. Yeah. So, yeah. There's nothing wrong with the film. The only problem is also that James Cameron, since this movie, has decided that every movie he makes has to be the biggest movie ever made. And I think that's really ruined him, because, he was putting out great movies every 3 years or so,
Yes.
We had,
of course,
the run of Terminator, Aliens, Abyss, T2, True Lies, and this. And this is what kind of, now I got to make every movie over $1 billion, period.
No, you don't. It's like, God, screw that standard. That is so dumb.
He did retain the rights to Terminator, or not retain, but he got them back. So he did that, and he did. See, instead of putting all the energy into Avatar, I feel like there is room for Alita Battle Angel. I thought that was a much better movie than Avatar.
Oh god, yeah, Alita Battle Angel was awesome, and I really think that's definitely one of Robert Rodriguez's best films.
I believe it is his best film, and I'm kind of disappointed that they're never going to continue that story, and I wonder if James Cameron will have the balls to add it to the Avatar franchise.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he wants to make so many of those movies, and honestly, like, considering like with what he did as this last one, I feel like he's just trying to like kind of rip off the Last Airbender kind of thing. It's like first you got this tribe, then you got this tribe coming up, and then he wants to introduce a new tribe. It's like, wait a minute, these are all match the same elements as Last Airbender. Damn it, James Cameron.
Look, I can't argue either, because George Miller continues to go back to Mad Max, and you think they would run out of stuff to say with that world, but no.
No, oh god, dude, I just saw Furiosa last night. Loved it.
Oh, good. What is the next film?
Okay, next film. This one was just so absurd. sorry. I gotta collect myself. But oh god, The Wrong Guy.
Yeah.
And I'm growing up with Kids in the Hall, gosh, and of course Bug's Life. I've always enjoyed. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his
Dave
name?
Foley.
Which one?
Dave Foley.
Yes, Dave Foley. I always enjoyed Dave Foley, and my God, the whole time, just how this movie is just playing out. He thinks everybody's after him, and clearly that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time.
It's it's a spoof of The Fugitive, as if and not like the wrongfully accused one with Leslie Nielsen. No, this is the one where he believes that he's guilty and no one else does. So he's just an idiot on the run. But the funny thing is, no matter where he goes, somehow he always happens to be near where the real killer is. So the adventure just continues and continues. I believe that this is the funniest movie ever made. It's not my favorite movie. Three Amigos is still my favorite movie, but The Wrong Guy is flat out the funniest movie I've ever seen. And this is my movie party movie that I will bring to people because no one's really seen this. It's starting to grow a little bit because it showed on Comedy Central a bunch for a few years. But this is the one, like, I show it to people and they're like, how the fuck have I never heard of this? It's because Disney had no faith in it. They showed it at Film Festival in 97. So this is why I added it to this year. 97 is when they showed it to everybody. But A, they didn't think Dave Foley was a big enough pull. B, spoof movies weren't doing that well. And then C, Hollywood Pictures was borderline shutting down. This went straight to video it was either late 2002 or 2003. That's how long it sat on the shelf.
No, it is a damn shame. It shouldn't. That's the thing. Like when Disney acquires something new, sometimes they'll just shelve it. Might not let it see the light of day until somebody else can buy it off them. Yeah, it was part of a distribution deal, I believe, with Working Title or something like that, where they acquired some of the stuff they really wanted, and they got this as part of the deal, and they just kind of like threw it away. And it's not the first time Disney's done this. There's like 6 or 7 movies in their catalog that never even seen beyond VHS, which is a shock to me. But I truly believe this is one of the silliest movies. Funny lines are so insane that I was in hysterics. I had to pause the movie because I was hysterical. Colostomy Bag Jones or Enema Bag Jones is fucking insane. When he's on the run in the train and the guy says he ate 15 canned hams that were rotten. Look, five would have been funny. 15 is fucking nuts. Yeah, dude, that's just, oh God, man. I mean, that change your digestive system. You have to pump everything out.
That's what they did. But you know the part that sells everybody on this movie is the part where he's in the office after his boss has been killed by the assassin, and he takes the knife out, and then he's
covered in blood.
He's completely covered in blood, but he's slowly trying to put the knife back in where it belongs. And that's where everybody just loses it every single time. And then when he's trying to clean himself off and he's completely and utterly covered in blood and acting like there's nothing wrong when he's in the elevator. Holy shit. I
know. It's like it's just a normal day for those people at the office.
Yeah.
Except for the secretary. She was screaming her head off.
Yeah. And Jennifer Tilly is so adorable. She comes in like in the last third. And then Joe Flaherty as her father, who I think is such a funny twist, is that instead of like what you usually see, the banks are coming after the farms, the farmers are coming after the bank.
That's which I kind of wish would be the case.
Yeah, it's an intensely silly movie, and it's just such a joy. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh no, and I liked how there was like a little appearance by Kevin McDonald, who was overseeing the hotel.
Yeah,
and he was pointing to the cops that it was him, and he's just like, oh. Damn, I was wrong. It was the wrong guy.
So this is free on YouTube because it is out of print. I just sold my Blu-ray for a lot of money because I needed the money. I know I needed the money, so
no, it's all good. I understand, man.
So my taxes were horrible. So they loaded it up to YouTube. You can watch it for free. So I think it's out of Disney's hand now and went back to the original production company. So hopefully they'll release it again in a much cheaper form. What is their next film?
This one was definitely a bit of a surprise to me. I mean, I've seen posters of this and I've seen like ads for it when I was younger. Yeah, Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins.
I see. I would have thought you had seen this one because it seemed like it was right in your wheelhouse. It wasn't unsuccessful. It's just one of those where I think it was just kind of lost in the shuffle. $25 million budget, $41 million box office. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I think at the time I thought this is one of the best movies I had ever seen. And I still think it holds up very well. All of the bits and pieces they drop throughout the movie, the plot or whatever, they all wrap up. There's no left storylines. It doesn't feel like it was choppy editing. A lot of times in comedy, they cut out bits and pieces if they don't work. And almost every single thing here works.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, man, and to think it was just a huge misunderstanding from the beginning.
Yeah. So it's spoilers. So it's Tim Robbins is like an ad executive guy, and he comes home to his wife having an affair. He loses his mind and decides he has, in quotation marks, nothing to lose. And he happens to have Martin Lawrence jumps in his unlocked car or whatever and robs him. And they end up going on a crazy adventure with other bad guys who are much, much worse than them. And what I like about it is Martin Lawrence wasn't a straight up criminal by any means. In fact, I assume this was the first time that he ever committed any crime out of desperation to keep a roof over his kids' heads and, food in their belly, because he was a techno guy, right? Not techno like music, but technology guy.
Yeah, he was like an engineer.
Yeah. And he just lost his job, and he picked the one guy that was just happened to be like, I don't give a shit about anything, let's go crazy. I was in fucking tears when he brings up, well, first off, when he says, welcome to hell, bitch. But
yeah, I know.
When Tim Robbins clearly has a blank look on his face and he's not stopping, he's racing through everything, and Martin Lawrence goes, are you one of those freaky Jason killer people, whatever? Please don't kill me, freaky Jason.
No, seriously. Oh, man. Yeah, and it was kind of nice to see that kind of highlight. It's like, having to resort to that out of just extreme desperation, again, yeah, is a highlight in how it is for a lot of people. Again, also, like, kind of brings a point about poverty. If you eliminated poverty or focus more on that, then yeah, stuff like that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and people don't think of Tim Robbins really as a funny guy. Not post Shawshank. I feel like everything kind of went serious after that. But this is, he was funny in Howard the Duck. He's in the Bull Durham, sure thing. So he had some comedy along the way. He would mix it up. I don't think he's done a comedy role since. No, he's in High Fidelity briefly as one of the boyfriends. He's funny in that. But I just thought it was...
I remember that. I think they always imagine jumping him and beating the crap out of him.
Yeah, but what I think makes this movie work so well is that the director-writer Steve Odenkirk filled it with so much hope. There's no cynicism and meanness really in this, except for the two real bad guys. There's just a lot of... It's got a lot of heart, and all of it really connects and doesn't feel fake.
No, absolutely not. And then, yeah, no, major spoiler, when he calls his wife, turns out the people he walked in on was his sister-in-law and her boyfriend. They just happen to have the same hair color. So
yeah.
Like, oh, my God.
Well, yeah, and then, 2/3 of the way through the movie, now they have to double back and fix everything that they did. The whole sequence. So the director, Steve Odenkirk, you probably don't know. He's not a household name, but he was one of Jim Carrey's comedy writer guys. He worked on In Living Color. He wrote both Ace Venturas. He directed the second Ace Ventura, but he is the security guy that comes in and starts dancing to the music for like an hour.
Oh, oh God, I thought he looked familiar. Didn't he also do Kung Pao?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, but it takes a guy who is completely secure in his silliness to pull off stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. No, I wouldn't mind either. It's like, God, be as silly as you want. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think it's a really underrated gem, and I think it's one of Martin Lawrence's best movies. I'm not a big Martin Lawrence fan because I think a lot of times he's just an asshole in his movies.
It's a little too repetitive of the character, especially since Bad Boys.
Yeah, Bad Boys 3 might be better than this, but this is probably one that I connect to the most. We never talk about national security. That's when I decided I hated him. National security is so fucking mean and bitter and just terrible. What is our next film?
Okay, this one was like a bit of a surprise to me. The Switchback. And this is like one of the first movies people see Jared Leto in.
Yeah, I think if it's not his first movie, it's really close because I know he did Prefontaine really close to this, which was about the runner Steve Prefontaine who was going to go national for Oregon and got hit by a car.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I got to tell you, Jared Leto's really fucking good in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's so if you haven't seen it, no one saw this movie. I remember seeing the trailer and really being captured by it. I really wanted to watch it. And then I saw that it was like out for 1 week. It only made like $6 million. It's it says Dennis Quaid is the main character, but he really isn't. He is the
No, yeah, it just jumps between Jared Leto, Danny Glover, and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, it's really Jared Leto and Danny Glover's movie, but they're not big enough names. And Dennis Quaid wasn't huge at the time, but he did just come off 2 hits, so it helped. But he's just the agent that's after the killer, but you really spend most of the movie, it seems like, with the killer. But you don't know for the longest time who is the killer, and I'm not going to reveal it, but Danny Glover and Jared Leto, you follow them, and their behavior is questionable at times. One's obnoxious and big and boisterous, but everybody loves him. The one's secretive and quiet and mysterious, and no one knows anything about him, so you're trying to gather the pieces as you go. That's what I liked about the movie, is also that it didn't really tell you. A lot of these serial killer movies make you know immediately. Or they play that game. You know that one where it's like, oh, there's 10 killers in a room. Which one is it?
Yes, like Clue.
Yeah, or I was thinking like Kiss the Girls or Identity. But it is a really good performance by Dennis Quaid. He's just like the stoic, really driven, because his son has been kidnapped by the serial killer, and he's no longer on the case, but he's not telling people that because they'll make him go home or they'll arrest him. And I want to say there's one major thing in this movie that no one ever, if they talk about it, they never mention this. R. Lee Ermey playing against type and being very, very good as the sheriff.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he was definitely looking out for Dennis Quaid back to help, catch this killer.
Yeah, it's so funny because he always plays like a really obnoxious asshole, usually in military kind of roles. And then his deputy, played by Ted Levine, is known for being villainous, except unless you're a huge fan of Monk. But I mean, he's the killer in Silence of the Lambs. Like, they're playing against type, and they're both very endearing. And there's a scene between them where they talk about the fact that he's no longer in office and that they're going to have to keep doing their job no matter what. And I just thought that was a really touching scene.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. In fact, to the point where even like the newly elected mayor just kind of like looks the other way to help R. Lee Ermey out.
Yeah.
So we can help out Dennis Quaid. Oh, and surprise appearance with Walter Goggins.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by that too. When I saw him, I was like, whoa, baby Goggins.
Love the guy. Absolutely great. Still, I get to watch Fallout.
Yeah, the first thing I had seen him in was Major League 3 as Downtown Malone, I think it was. Downtown Brown. Yeah, the two releases were very close together. So, but it's just like, oh, baby Goggins. I just love saying baby Goggins.
Everybody wants him right now.
Yeah, it's but Jared Leto I forgot how good he was, and Danny Glover playing against type, just doing a really good job. I just thought it was a very, very good serial killer thriller. The problem is, it was kind of at the end of that whole run.
Was it a little rushed, Phil?
Yeah, it was really tight. Well, it was a very tight budget too. But, I just feel like a lot of the serial killer movies had kind of played themselves out for a little bit and then kind of reborn a few years later when Hannibal came back. But yeah, it's just one of those lost in the shuffle. Released at Halloween. I'm sure there was a couple horror movies that came out at the same time that kind of took that away. Just rock solid from... Not Jeffrey Boehm. Oh, doggone it. He wrote the first Die Hard, and he wrote The Fugitive. I'm going to have to cheat and look. I'm sorry.
I know. Like, it sounds awfully familiar. I'm like, weird. Not John McTiernan, right?
No, it's a writer. John McTiernan didn't write.
No.
Let me cheat a little bit. I also really like the very beginning of the movie where they show what you believe in your head for the longest time is the killer. They leave that hanging, and you're not sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's, again, ambiguous. And you're just going to have to figure things out yourself.
Yeah. Can I see the ball one more time? So it's Jeb Stewart. He co-wrote Die Hard, wrote Leviathan, another 48 Hours, The Fugitive, Just Cause, and then this. But the problem is this destroyed his career. He didn't do any more movies. No, he didn't do any movies really after this. He just did just some TV here and there. And that's about it, sadly.
That is sad.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
What is our next film?
Next film is last one, of course. Definitely memorable. And, oh, God, how many times did I have to see Harrison Ford say, "Get off my plane"? Air Force One.
I have to say this. I waited for that moment, and I said it before he said it. Get off my plane. So Around this period of time, there was also Mel Gibson in Ransom saying, "Give me back my son." And I used to go around, "Give me back my plane," or "Get off my son."
It's like you get the two mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Man.
does this feel like a continuation of the Jack Ryan franchise for you?
Honestly, considering like his character's like experience, of course, having flown all those missions in Vietnam and being a former soldier, it definitely feels like it could have.
Yeah, in my head, it feels like the natural progression from Patriot Games to Clear and Present Danger to this. Clearly, different companies, different character, but it always feels like that comfort zone. Oh, he got elected a president. What a year for Gary Oldman, because he had just got done doing a great performance as a crazy villain in Fifth Element, and then this. He owned summer of '97.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, again, for me, Fifth Element was one of his most unforgettable roles.
Yeah. What I like about this movie, and I think people have kind of dropped. Look, I understand having villains that you sympathize with, like you understand their point of view, even though it's gone wrong. Sometimes you just... Yeah, sometimes you just want a straight up fucking shitty human being, bad guy, so you can watch him die.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. I mean, geez, how many movies I've seen that? Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
This is like one of those Die Hard kind of scenarios where it's, trapped in one area with a bunch of terrorists and people are hostage. You got one man ready to set them free. It is that pastiche. And I think it's probably the last quality one of that whole genre. I don't know. It does feel like at one point this might have been like, what if John McClane was promoted to Secret Service or whatever, and this is the plot that we would do, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not the first of these kind of movies that take place in the air because of Passenger 57. But I gotta tell you, Wolfgang Petersen, fucking firing on all cylinders. He has like a 1-2-3 punch here with In the Line of Fire, Outbreak, and then this. So he can command the best supporting cast he can. He could have cast a star as the president's wife, but he didn't. He picked Wendy Crewson, who is a Canadian actress, not very well known, but I thought she was fucking great.
Oh, absolutely.
Really strong. Glenn Close being the first time I think a woman's ever been cast as a high administration in any movie.
Yeah, vice president, no less.
And I don't know, it seems if you're not paying attention, it seems like an uber, ultra patriotic, rah-rah, right-wing kind of idea. Like, if this had been released post 9/11, it would have been sold that way. But because Wolfgang Petersen is German and tend to be a little more progressive, which is ironic considering the whole World War II thing. But I think that he had better ideas for action movies and how to cast them and who to use more than a lot of action directors would have. That would have been crass.
Well, absolutely. It's like, ideally, it's like we want to help prevent these measures before they would happen.
Yeah.
Especially, and then of course, at the end, the ransom demands for Gary Oldman's character as to why they had this heist go on in the first place was to get their particular general out of jail. And of course, Jürgen Prochnow was that general. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he do this in Die Hard 2 as well?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And Delta Force, I believe they did that, Delta Force. But that was the thing that was actually happening, is that in the 80s, they were taking people hostage, like in Libya or whatever, and they wanted to free, someone, and that's just the way it was. William H. Macy really hitting his stride as a strong supporting actor post-Fargo. I really enjoyed his performance in this.
Absolutely, yes. Him, and then you also had, he was from Wishmaster.
Andrew Divoff. It's a high budget movie when Andrew Divoff is just playing one of the terrorists. Whereas if it was a lower budget movie, like just 2 or 3 years earlier, he's the main villain in A Low Down Dirty Shame with Keenen Ivory Wayans.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Wolfgang Petersen, and he can get whoever the fuck he wants.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And who else was there? Dean Stockwell.
Right. What I like most about this,
that's what he was.
What I like most about this movie is I forgot that heroes used to be scared. They used to be real human beings. That Harrison Ford is scared, frazzled, he's going just by like moments instead of having like this ultimate cool plan. I think that's what we lose in a lot of action movies now. Everything is Jason Statham where everybody's cool and control and they have the best dialogue. No, he's fucking terrified. He's a real human being in this. And I think Harrison Ford always had that. Even in the Indiana Jones movies, he's kind of scared. Harrison Ford, just like the Uberman, and yet still completely connected as a normal human being.
Exactly. Yeah. His empathy. Plus, his wife and daughter, again, were still on the plane. He had to stay behind.
Yeah.
He couldn't just stay in that escape pod. And then, oh gosh. And then it turns out, one of the Secret Service agents who I'd seen play a general or military personnel in almost every movie he's in.
I don't know. There was the one corrupt guy. They never really explained how they corrupted him. They paid him a crap ton of money. They blackmail him, whatever. That's Xander Berkeley, and he's one of those character actors. But he was the one that was on their side, the Russian side. Or no, it wasn't Russia. It was like Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah, Kazakhstan.
Yeah. Back when Russia wasn't full-on bad guys, I guess, if you want to call it, as they are now.
Yeah, it was like, of course, this is like post-Cold War. And, again, ideally, yeah, they were just trying to, have good relations with Russia.
Yeah. Those days are gone. Sorry. Sadly.
I know.
Oh, the 90s was such bliss. People bitch about Bill Clinton getting a blowjob, and look, that was probably stupid, but we had a lot of great things going on during the 90s. We had hope.
Yeah, there was.
We had peace.
But I mean, there was like some legit things to criticize Bill on. An affair wasn't one of them. That was Hillary's job to question.
Yeah, it's just interesting, like, kids now have no idea, like, we just got the internet!
Oh, yeah.
Comedy Central exists! Ireland...
Don't go to that site!
IRA terrorists are no longer necessary because they're not fighting anymore, The economy is booming!
Right. Oh.
Yeah. So, it was different in the 90s. Everybody loved grunge!
Oh, yes. Oh, God, grunge was everywhere. Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Pokemon just started hitting.
What's this new PlayStation thing? Sony thinks they can compete with Nintendo?
Oh, were they right?
All right, that's it.
Both of them.
Is that the last movie you said?
Yeah, that was it. Air Force One, and out on the bag.
Oh,
just the way he took down Gary Oldman, though, freaking awesome.
It's funny is the movie could have ended there, and it has a little bit of that Con Air thing, but it doesn't feel forced. You know how Con Air just wouldn't fucking end? They just kept killing Malkovich over and over. This one, it doesn't end, but each progression is very interesting. Like, oh, well, now we're over in foreign air and they're going to blow us out of the air. And now we've been hit. Now we got to somehow land safely or no, they can't land. They have to escape whatever before the plane crashes. By the way, the special effects are astounding until that plane hits the water and flips over and you're like, oh my God, these are video game effects.
Yeah, I know. It was the water effects that really gave it away.
Yeah, but the fact that they had guys, they were able to do the special effects of them in air tied to that rope flying down to the other. I was like, that's really good. I don't even know if that's miniature or CGI. What is that? Real stuntman?
Yeah, it's a damn good job. That's what it is.
I still can't believe.
Can say about it.
I still can't believe there's not an Oscar for stunts. What the fuck?
I know, for real, especially with how much they do.
Yeah, or then die over. All right, so that is it for 1997, everybody. Thank you very much. Jacob, send us out.
All right, everybody. Namaste and good luck. Be excellent to each other.
I need a new saying for the 90s. Tell me what you want. What you really, really want. No. I got nothing. Just be excellent to each other.
If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. And not be a douchebag.
Yeah, don't be a douchebag. Don't be a fucking douchebag. There, that's my 90s saying.
Don't make me smack you in the face with my khakis.
All right, bye, everybody. Khakis.